Hi everyone, Monisha here. In this video, I'll be completing the introductory part of determinants. Determinant is a very important chapter for your second PUC, so please do concentrate it. So before knowing determinants, you have to understand the matrices carefully. If matrices is not known, then determinants will be a tedious task for you. So first you have to practice matrix properly. Okay, so let us start the session. So what is a determinant? What really it is? So come let us know about that. Every square matrix has associated with its scalar called its determinant. So if a matrix is associated with its scalar, then it is said to be a determinant. Given a matrix A, we use det A or determinant A. We can signify the determinant as det A or these two vertical lines. So this is considered as determinant to designate its determinant. We can also designate the determinant of a matrix A by replacing the brackets by vertical straight lines. For example, in matrix you might have known you will be using this square brackets. Okay, so when we replace these square brackets into two vertical lines, then it is said to be the det of, that is determinant of matrix A. Okay, so this is the determinant of A. So what is determinant? The determinant of 1 into 1 matrix, that is A, is the scalar of A. Okay, so if we have written it in this scalar form, then it is said to be the matrix determinant of 1 into 1 matrix. Second one is the determinant of 2 into 2 matrix. This is a 2 into 2 matrix which has 2 rows and 2 columns. Is the scalar AD minus BC. That is, the diagonal should be multiplied then subtracted to the other diagonal. A into D, that is AD, minus B into C, BC. Okay. For higher order matrix, we will use a recursive procedure to compute determinants. Next, going to the subtopics. The subtopics in this lesson as follows. First is determinant of a square matrix. Second, minors and cofactors. Third, properties of determinants. Fourth, applications of determinants. And then area of triangle, condition of collinearity of 3 points, solution of system of linear equations under Cramer's rule. So these are the topics we are going to learn in this chapter. You might have known the second order and third order of a matrix. Okay, so we can convert it into a determinant form by two vertical lines. So this 2 rows and 2 columns. So if a determinant has 2 rows and 2 columns, then those determinant is said to be second order. Similarly, if they have 3 rows and 3 columns, then those determinant is said to be determinant of third order. Similarly, if the determinant has n number of elements, okay, so that is from A1 to Ln. So there are a numerous number of elements in this determinant. So this type of determinant is said to be determinant of nth order. A block of n square arranged in the form of n rows and n columns. Diagonal through left hand top corner. So left hand top corner to this side. Okay. So this is called as a diagonal, called as leading or principal diagonal. Moving on to an example problem so that you can understand how to do the problems clearly. So evaluate the determinant 4 minus 3, 2, 5. So in order to find the determinant of it, we have to multiply the diagonal elements. So after multiplying, we have to subtract it. Okay. So 4 into 5 minus 2 into minus 3. The diagonal elements are multiplied first. Okay. And subtracted. So 4 into 5 minus, so subtracted. The diagonal element should be subtracted. So 4 into 5 minus 2 into minus 3. 4 5s are 20. Here minus into minus is plus. 3 2s are 6. So 20 plus 6 is 26. So this is the way of determining the problem. So next let us go to 3 into 3 matrix. So here there are 3 columns and 3 rows. So in order to conclude it, so we have to do it in this form. Okay. So A11, A22, A33, A12, A23, A31 plus A13, A21, A32 minus of all these elements. So this is a subtraction of the product of the elements. Let us go to an example problem. So before that, we have to know how to multiply it. So when we are taking this matrix, so A is a matrix, when we are taking into a determinant form, so when I take the first element here, only the row is considered. Okay, first is A11. When I consider A11, the row and column adjacent to it will get deleted. Okay, so A11 determinant, so these 4 elements will be remained. So if you are considering A11, then A11 into determinant A22, A23, A32, A33. So next is minus 1, 2. So the middle term always must be signified with the negative symbol. First one should be positive, second one always should be negative, and the third one should be positive. Okay, so minus A12. So if you are considering A12, so this column and this row will be deleted. Okay, the adjacent of that row will be deleted, element will be deleted. So if it is deleted, the remaining will be A21, A23, A31, A33. So next is the last element in the first row. So if we are consider this column and this row will get deleted. So the remaining will be A21, A22, A31, A32. Okay, so after writing this, we have to multiply the diagonal element and subtract it with the other diagonal element. That is A11 into A22, A33 minus A32, A23 minus A12 in the same form A21, A33 minus A31, A23 plus A13 into A21, A32 minus A31, A22. So this is the form of doing this problems. Let us do a simple example of it. Okay, so this is the determinant which is given. So we will be taking the first row. Okay, so we shall take the first row here. So first 2. Okay, so when 2 is considered, this row and this column will be deleted and only this will be remaining. Okay, these elements will, 4 elements will be remaining. That is 1 minus 2, 4, 1 for the first element. Next, the middle element should be designated with the minus. So minus 3. If 3 is taken, this column and this row will be deleted. The remaining is 7 minus 2 minus 3, 1. In the same way, last one is minus 5. Minus 5. When I take minus 5, this column and this row will be deleted. Remaining will be 7, 1 minus 3, 4. So now what we have to do is we need to multiply the diagonal element and later we have to subtract this product. Okay, so 2 into 1 is 1 itself. 4 into minus 2. 4 into minus 2 is 8. So since it is a determinant, we can take it as minus itself. So when any number is taken out of the determinant, it will become positive. Okay, so 1 into 1, 1. 4 into 2 is 8. That is plus 8. Here minus 3 as it is. Here 7 ones are 7 minus 3 twos are here, minus get cancels. So 3 twos are 6. So next is minus 5 as it is. 7 fours are 28 minus here we have to subtract it. So minus into minus will become plus. So the answer will be minus 140. So this is the easiest problem to see the determinant, to find out the determinant by using 3 into 3 matrix or 2 into 2 matrix. Let us learn about the important properties of matrices. Determinants. The important properties of determinants are 8 properties. 8 properties are there which are very important. I will tell one by one. The first one is the value of a determinant remains unchanged if its rows and columns are interchanged. Okay. So see here an example has been given here. So A1, A2, A3 is in a column, B1, B2, B3 and C1, C2, C3 are written in a column. So when we interchange it, when A1, A2, A3 is interchanged into row, B1, B2, B3 and C1, C2, C3. So all the columns has been interchanged into rows. Even if this is done, there will be no change in the solution. So the first property is the value of a determinant remains unchanged if its rows and columns are interchanged. Even if it is interchanged, the value will be same. Moving on to the second property of determinant. If any 2 rows or columns of a determinant are interchanged, then the value of the determinant is changed by minus sign. Okay. So when the entire row and column are interchanged, the value will not be interchanged. But when any 2 rows, okay, when any 2 rows or any 2 columns are interchanged, then the value will be interchanged by a minus sign. Okay. Moving on to the third property. If all the elements of a row or column is multiplied by a non-zero number k, then the value of a new determinant is k times the value of the original determinant. So the next property is when all the elements in a determinant is multiplied by k. Okay, when we are multiplying by k or any other element, then all the elements in the determinant will change into k. So when we take the common of it also, you can imply it as this determinant will be k times the value of the original determinant. Moving on to the fourth property. If each element of any row or column consists of two or more terms, then the determinant can be expressed as a sum of two or more determinants. Okay. If each element of any row or column, okay, if each element in a row or column consists of two or more terms, see here it has two terms. Okay, if it has two or more terms, then that determinant can be expressed in the sum of the two or more determinants. Okay, so if there is one more element, so that we can consider it as the second term. Okay, two terms, then those two will be separated. So in first time a1, a2, a3 will be given. In the second matrix x, y, z will be given. So in a split form we will be writing it. So moving on to the fifth property, the value of a determinant is unchanged if any row or column is multiplied by the number then added to the other row. Moving on to the sixth property. The sixth property is if any two rows or columns of a determinant are identical, then its value is 0. Okay, if any row or column, see here the first row is a1, b1, c1 and the last row is also a1, b1, c1. If two rows or two columns are identical, if they are same, then the value of that determinant will be 0. So this is the thing you have to keep it in mind always. If two rows or two columns are identical, then the value of that determinant will be 0. Okay. So next is if each element of a row or column of a determinant is 0, then its value is 0. So there are two cases when the value of a determinant will become 0. One is when two rows or two columns, if they are identical in values, then the determinant will be 0. In another case, if one row, if one row or if one column is completely 0, then the determinant is also equal to 0. This is the sixth and seventh property. Moving on to the last property, that is eighth property. Let A is equal to, there is a matrix A 0 0, 0 B 0 and 0 0 C. The leading diagonal is ABC. Okay, so this type of element is said to be, this type of matrix or determinant is said to be a diagonal matrix. So where all other elements are 0, whereas only the diagonal elements will be there. So this is said to be a diagonal matrix. So if A is a diagonal matrix, then the determinant is equal to ABC. Okay, the determinant will be equal to the multiplication of all the elements in the diagonal, that is ABC. So this is the eighth property. If a matrix is diagonal matrix, then the product of or the value of the determinant will be the product of the diagonal elements. I hope you understood all the properties well. Moving on to the next topic, that is the minor of an element. The minor of an element is the determinant of each 3 into 3 matrix is called a minor of associated element. So the determinant of each element, each 3 into 3 matrix element is called minor of the associated element. The symbol Mij represents the minor when I is the row and j column are eliminated. Okay. So see here, when you have a 3 into 3 matrix, the first element will be M11. If the first element is M11, then the adjacent row of that M11 will be deleted. The adjacent row and adjacent column. So M11 will be an element where the adjacent row and adjacent column will be deleted. The remaining elements is said to be the minor of that element. Okay. So M11, the determinant or the minor of this M11 is said to be, that is minor M11 is said to be A22, A23, A32, A33. And so on, we have to take the minor of each and every element. So A11 is that first element where minor of this A11 is M11, that is given by determinant A22, A23. In the same way, we have to find out A21, A31, A22, A23, A33, etc. So these are the elements of the rows or columns, whereas the number which is signified, the element which is signified by M will be the minor of this element. Okay. Moving on to the cofactor of an element. Let Mij be the minor of an element Aij in an n into n matrix. The cofactor of Aij is written as capital Aij. That is by multiplying minus 1 to the power of ij, that is the number of row and number of column of that particular element. That is called as a cofactor. So minor, we already know, minor means if we delete the adjacent row and column of one particular element, the remaining element in the matrix is said to be minus. Whereas cofactor means when we multiply that minor with minus 1 to the power of the number of rows and columns in the powers, then it is said to be cofactor of that element. To find the determinant of a 3 into 3 or large square matrix, first one, choose any row or column. Second, multiply the minor of each element in that row or column by a plus 1 or minus 1 depending on whether the sum of I plus j is even or odd. Okay. Then multiply each cofactor by its corresponding element in the matrix and find the sum of these products. This sum is the determinant of the matrix. You will get to know about each and everything once you better solve the problems. When you solve the problems, you can correctly understand the basics of it. So this is just the theoretical part, the definitions of the theoretical part of each and every part of this determinant. Okay. So once you do the problems, you will understand exactly how the cofactor has been done, how the minus has been done, how the determinant will be find out. Okay. Next, the value of determinant in terms of minus and cofactors. So the value of a determinant in terms of minus and cofactors. There is a determinant, that is a determinant, which is from 1 to 3. 1 to 3 means I will be the first row and 3 will be the column. So 1 up to 3 means first row, third column. Minus 1 to the power of I plus j. Okay. So we will do Aij. A will be the element. Aij will be the element and Mij will be the minor. So we will get it as summation j is equal to 1 to 3 Aij into Cij. So Aij into Cij. Cij is the cofactor, whereas Mij is the minor and Aij is the particular element. Row or column operation. Following are the notations to evaluate a determinant. First point is Ri. I is the number of that row. Okay. So Ri to denote the ith row. It can be any row, first, second or third or fourth row. So I will be the number of that particular row. Ri to denote the ith row. Next, Ri to Rj. Here actually we are interchanging by this symbol. Okay, double arrow mark. So we are interchanging Ri to Rj to denote the interchange of ith and jth row. Next, Ri interchange to Ri plus lambda Rj. So that Greek symbol is said to be lambda to denote the addition of lambda times the element of jth row to the corresponding elements in the ith row. Lambda Ri to denote the multiplication of all the elements of ith row by lambda. Similarly, that notations can be used to denote column operation by replacing R with C. When we replace R with R, it will be row operation. When we replace with R with C, then it will be column operation. Moving on to the application of determinants, first one is area of triangle. The area of triangle whose vertices are x1, y1, first point of the first vertices, x2, y2, second point of the second vertices, and x3, y3 are given by the expression. So we'll write the determinant as delta is equal to, the triangle symbol is said to be delta, which is equal to half into determinant x1, x2, x3, y1, y2, y3 and 1, 1, 1, which are the columns of a triangle matrix. So in the same way, we have to do it half into x1, y2 minus y3. So x2, y3 minus y1 and x3, y1 minus y2. So we can say to be, it is a formula derivation for area of triangle. Okay. So see here, when we take x1, what will be the minor? So when we take x1, so this row and this column will get deleted. So when this get deleted, the remaining will be these four items. So when these four elements are there, we have to subtract the product of it. That is y2 into 1 is y2 minus y3 into 1 is y3. So x1 into y2 minus y3. In the same way, x2. So this row and this column will get deleted. So when I take x2 here, it will be y3 minus y1. And when I take x3, this row and this column will be deleted. So it will become y1 minus y2. Okay. So this is the way of deriving the formula for area of a triangle. Let us do a simple example for area of triangle with the vertices minus 1, 8, minus 2, 3 and 3, 2. Here the first set of point is x1, y1, second is x2, y2 and third is x3, y3. So we have to substitute in that corresponding places itself. Okay. So x1 is minus 1, x2 is minus 2 and x3 is 3. And again y1 is 8, y2 is minus 3 and y3 is 2. Okay. So in the same way we have to calculate the area of triangle for this. So the area of triangle here half into. So half into, first we have to take the first element in the first row minus 1. So these two will get deleted. So when it get deleted, so we can take minus 3 into 1 and 2 into 1. Minus 3 into 1 is minus 3. Minus 2 into 1 is 2. Again second element in the first row, that is minus 8. The middle element should be always taken in negative symbol itself. Okay. So minus 2. So minus 2 into this row, this column and this row will get deleted. It will become minus 2 minus 3. Next is 1. This row and this column will be deleted. It will become minus 4 and here one minus is there. If we add one more minus means minus into minus plus will become. So 3 3s are 9. So when we calculate it, we will get 25 square units. Moving to the condition of collinearity of 3 points. When there are 3 points, 3 vertices, that is if A, x1, y1, B, x2, y2 and C, x3, y3 are 3 points, then A, B, C are collinear. Okay, when there are 3 points, then it is said to be collinear when area of triangle ABC is equal to 0. Okay, when area of triangle is equal to 0, then when these 3 points are there, then we can set it as a collinear. Okay. So this is condition of collinearity of 3 points. So moving on to the next topic. So before that, let us do a small example problem of collinearity. If the points x minus 2, 5, 2, 8, 8 are collinear, find x. So here they have already told us that it is collinear. Collinear means the determinant will be equal to 0. Okay. Then we have to find out the value for x. Let us substitute in the place of x1, x2, x3. Okay. So this will be x1, x2, x3, this is y1, y2, y3 and this last one will be 1, 1, 1. So only in the case of this area of a triangle it will become. Okay. So x5, 8, x5, 8 in first row, minus 2, 2, 8 in the second column, sorry, first column and second column, 1, 1, 1 as it is. So again we have to take the minor of it. So first element x into 2 minus 8, next is minus 2, so this will be deleted, so it will become 5 minus 8. If I take 1, it will become 5 8s are 40, 8 2s are 16. So 40 minus 16. So when we solve it, we will get x is equal to 3. So this is the way of finding out by using the area of triangle formula. So next, moving on to the last topic, that is solution of system of two linear equation by Cramer's rule. So it is a new rule, Cramer's rule for solving two linear equations. So here two linear equations has been given, a1x plus b1y is equal to c1. Next one is a2x plus b2y is equal to c2. These are two linear equations. Here in order to find this x and y, first one x is equal to d1 by d and y is equal to d2 by d provided d is not equal to 0. Okay. So d1 and d2 are determinant 1 and determinant 2. So here you can see that d is a1, a2, b1, b2. This is d where d1 is c1, c2 and b1, b2. Again d2 is a1, a2 and c1, c2. So the interchanging of it. So here d1 divided by d and d2 divided by d is said to be x and y. In Cramer's rule, if d is not equal to 0, then the system is consistent and unique solution. So these three conditions are very important for Cramer's rule. First one is if d is not equal to 0, then the system is consistent and has unique solution. Okay, this is the first rule. Second rule is if d is equal to 0 and d1 is equal to d2 is also equal to 0. If d is equal to 0 and d1, d2 is also equal to 0, then the system is consistent and has infinitely many solutions. Last is if d is equal to 0 and 1 of d1, d2 is not equal to 0, then the system of inconsistent has no problem. The system of inconsistent has no problem. There are three rules. One is unique solution when d is not equal to 0. One has infinitely many solution when d is equal to 0 and d1, d2 is also equal to 0. And another one is inconsistent and no solution, that is when d1, d2 is not equal to 0 and d is equal to 0. So these are the topics we are going to learn here. Okay, I hope you understood all these things. So let us do, if you understood this, please do this example problem also. So this is based on a Cramer's rule. In the same way as I explained now, it has to be calculated by calculating x is equal to d1 by d and y is equal to d2 by d. I hope you understood this. So if you have any queries, suggestions about the video and also about my teaching, you can please comment me on the comment section below. This is just the introductory part of determinants. In the next videos, I will be uploading the problem part, exercise part of all the problems of the determinants. Thank you. Thanks for watching my videos.